Hello, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone watching in Canada and everyone that's celebrating for Thanksgiving. We have a lot to cover today. I have a lot of food to show you, and I've got a gravy recipe that I'm going to show you. The easiest gravy recipe, so good and so fast to make. You're going to love it. So making that gravy recipe with you today, making a salad to go along with our Thanksgiving dinner, and I'm going to show you our main dessert. Got a whole lot of stuff to show you. So first, if you're watching and you're on YouTube, please like the video and comment. I'm doing a draw after. I'm giving away something again today. We did our giveaway last week. It was midday squares. I've already been into this one, see? And we drew our winner for the midday squares. So I'm collecting the entries on my YouTube video. So not commenting in the chat, please comment in the chat, but afterwards, comment in the actual comments on YouTube and like and subscribe to my channel so that, YouTube will see me out there and help populate these vegan videos out to others. So I'm doing a giveaway today. Hi, Cheryl. Nice to see you. Happy Thanksgiving. So I'm not sure how many of you are watching from the US. I do have more US viewers and readers than Canadian. There's more of you in the US. So I think Canada is about the entire population of Canada is equivalent to the population of California. So I definitely have more US visitors and readers. However, all of these recipes, you guys can start planning for your Thanksgiving because I know it's huge for you in the States, way bigger than it is in Canada. Hi. Gotta put my readers on. Tishua, what a lovely name. Hi, hello. So, yes, you know what? I don't even remember Thanksgiving growing up. It was not a big holiday for us as kids. And, Christmas was huge, of course, but Thanksgiving, I truly do not remember having much of a meal fuss around Thanksgiving. My mom might say different, give me a hard time about that. But I don't remember Thanksgiving. So maybe it was the time, of where now I think we emulate a lot more of what the US does. So I feel like in the last 20 years, Thanksgiving has grown in Canada quite a bit. And especially with social media and seeing all the posts and build up for Thanksgiving, I feel like in Canada, it's become more popular. But for a long time, it was kind of like not much in Canada, and it's so early, right? It's before Halloween here. It's really kind of like you got to get your head around it very early. Hi, Cheryl, watching from the US, and you have Canadian friends. Lovely. So, a lot of people celebrating today. Maybe you had your dinner yesterday. And hi, Nancy. Nice to have you all here. Sometimes we like to call it Plantsgiving or Thanksgiving. Do any of you call it that? Or is that like really, really corny? I know, well, I am corny. Oh, wait, we totally forgot to toast each other in. Okay, I hope you have your tea. I have like a passion fruit or something tea today. I'm not sure. I found a random tea bag that had been up there for a while. I'm like, I'm going to have that one today because I didn't want like a chai or spicy one. I felt like something kind of fruity, which is not usually what I go for, but it jumped out at me. So there was a reason. So tea, little chocolate. Mm-hmm. So join me, get your tea and your chocolate. Mm-hmm. And join in. Well, maybe you've got these midday squares. So many of you are emailing me and saying, oh my gosh, they're so good. You're right. Guys, I'm not going to tell you about a product that I don't think is amazing. Like, I'm not going to put it out there and say, this is delicious or this is a really good product unless I'm feeling that way myself and I use it or I have used it and think it's fabulous or I've tasted it and think it's fabulous. So you know that. Okay, so what we're doing today, first, so I just want to talk about like Thanksgiving in general and how much, of course, in the US especially, I know that Thanksgiving is for many people bigger than Christmas, right? Especially because of different religious followings. A lot of people celebrate Thanksgiving much bigger than Christmas and all of the holidays around December. And it seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but that turkeys are the thing for Thanksgiving and ham is the bigger thing for December, like Christmas and those holidays. Yes, no, that's my sort of view on things from an outsider from Canada. In Canada, it's like turkey all over the place. It's so sad. Turkeys are really, you know, we won't talk about it because I don't want the conversation to go in that direction. But in Canada, people do eat ham and stuff as well. But it seems like turkey is the animal that's eaten all the time for our holidays. And there's so many more options. You can eat a kinder, happier, more delicious meal. I have served my holiday meal to family members, and they've said that is tastier than having our traditional turkey dinner. And when I was making it, when we lived in Newfoundland, and I was making it for my husband's parents, so she would always have like reflux after eating Thanksgiving dinner or a Christmas dinner. And it was Christmas dinner that I made. And she called us after and said that was the first time that she could eat gravy and not have reflux and not feel sick after. So it's not just about, obviously it's healthier, but there's this whole humane component to eating healthy, and we're giving back to ourselves, but it's a big deal if we can share these dishes, these delicious dishes that we're making, right? And show people that they are more flavorful than what they're eating for Thanksgiving or Christmas, like far more delicious. And that it's not hard. It's not hard. I've been preparing these dishes through the weekend only because our daughter's in a swim meet. I didn't know if I was going to be at the swim meet. They'll be home soon, so it's going to get noisy. So I'm just letting you know that as well. But parents weren't allowed because of COVID. So she's been at a swim meet. I've been kind of juggling things for that, doing, laundry and getting snacks ready for her, driving our other daughter to work. So I've been doing things along the way to prep for today, right? Because I wanted to show you guys everything. And any big dinner, you have to kind of prep things in stages because it's a lot of work. But truly, my main dish is far easier than cooking any turkey. And I have a friend who cooks turkey every year, and I don't know what she's going to do this year because she's been going plant-based. She's been saying, I don't want to do this anymore. And she said, she said to me one day, people spend so much money on their homes and they don't invest in their health and their bodies. And I was like, yes. Right? Like we go out and we buy all these decor items for our homes, or we buy new furniture or cars, and, find if that's your passion, enjoy those things. But we devalue what's going into our bodies every day, right? The value of good, wholesome food every day. So I'm going to wonder if I have to check up with her and see, but she says to me every year she's disgusted to prepare the turkey. She says, having to put my hand inside that thing. And she's like, oh, it's so gross. I said, don't do it. And it doesn't have to be tofu. You don't have to get a tofurkey. People joke about that. And it doesn't have to be, a roast. It just needs to be a delicious main. I see lots of comments coming in, and I'd love to hear, hi, Christine. Hello, Canadian Thanksgiving. Living in California. Hello. And she celebrates both. That's awesome. And hello, the Foodicator. Cool. Lebby from Texas. Hi. So, spreading the word about these good dishes is a big deal because people don't think we can have this beautiful, bountiful meal. We can. And it's a lot easier, actually, right? And the cleanup is a lot easier, too. I prepped this main in about 20 minutes. And then I pre-baked it and then just baked it a little bit more. So having said all that, and I shared a quote this morning on my Instagram and Facebook page, if you saw it, and I came across it, and then I promise I'll get into the food after this. I won't just jabber on here all day. I came across it when I was doing my Bellicon workout this morning, and it was with one of the Bellicon instructors. And so Bellicon is my rebounder, and I put the link there for you guys if you want to look into it. And the quote was, treat your body so well that your soul is thrilled to live in it. I love that. And I had never heard that before. So I showed it today. And that, is not just food. For me, I've had to learn a lot in the last few years. As you know, like my body's changing and because I'm 50 now. And so, things change. And treating yourself well when you're 50 is different than when you're 30 or 20, and things change in your life, how you exercise and how you nourish yourself, etc. So it's diet is a big part of that, but also fitness. And when I say fitness, I mean I am not slugging it out like for an hour in those workouts that I used to do when I was like 20 or 30. That's a whole other story for another day. But just to say, like, I really love that quote, right? And this is what we're doing. We're treating our body so well with this food, but we're also, that compassion goes back, right? It's a smaller footprint on the earth, and we know it's much, much more kind to animals. Of course, it's obvious. Okay, enough of that. Gonna get into the food. So what will I show you first? So I'm gonna make the gravy. I think I'll make the salad after the gravy. I'm going to show you the main. So in Dreena's Kind Kitchen, and I'm doing a giveaway of Dreena's Kind Kitchen today. That's our giveaway. And if you already have the book, then you can gift it like for Christmas for someone, right? And there's a full holiday section in this book, as I've mentioned in a few posts. So now let's get to it. And here it is, Holiday Fare. So this is a full chapter. And this is the first book that I really put a focus on the holiday meals, because people always ask what I serve for the holidays. And I wanted to share sort of the whole shebang with everyone. So I have the holiday dinner tort, which is what I made for you today. I have a cran apple compote, which is really nice, with apples along with the cranberries. It's sort of a nice different take on cranberry sauce, which I've always made my cranberry sauce myself for over the years. I have that recipe in Eat, Drink, and Be Vegan. I didn't make cranberry sauce this year because I'm, for some reason, sensitive to cranberries. I don't know. I don't know how these things come up. Golden gravy, that's what we're making today. Lemon Dijon roasted potatoes. Now, Bridget wants to make mashed potatoes, so I will let her make that tonight. I'm going to do the potatoes in the Instant Pot so that they'll steam real quick. It takes like 6 minutes or so, and I'll let her mash them because I hate doing mashed potatoes. I so don't like it. So it's such a pain to me. And when she made them, I think last year, I only make them once a year for that reason. And in fact, I usually don't make them. That's why I do like the lemon Dijon. I cannot stand mashing potatoes. And I have one of those potato ricers, right? Do any of you guys use that where you push the potato through it? But it's a hell of a lot of work and it hurts your arm and my elbow gets sore. And so she did it last year and she's like, Mom, I can see why you don't really like this. Okay. But I'm going to let her do that tonight because she wants mashed potatoes. She loves them. I could do without. I prefer baked potatoes to mashed potatoes, like just straight up baked potatoes or steamed. And roasted squash and sweet potato puree. I've been making that for years. I don't have that made today, but I usually make it for Christmas. And then I have a New Year's baked beans recipe. And this Guinness-less sheet cake is delicious as well. Now, my pumpkin pie that I made for today is in Plant Heart Families, but the recipe is on my site. So in the description to this video, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, the description has a bunch of recipe links. It has the pumpkin pie, 5 mains instead of turkey, 5 main dishes instead of turkey. This holiday tort is not there, but I'm going to get it up in time for US Thanksgiving. And 10 popular holiday desserts. Those links are all there. So go at them, right? Have fun with those links. I'm seeing lots of questions and notes come in. Oh, Sherry's saying she made the quicken noodle soup last night and loved it. Awesome. That recipe I did last week, you can check it out if you missed it. I will get to some of these after. I want to get going with the food. Okay. And I appreciate all of you commenting. Thank you. Thank you. I love to hear from you. So I'm going to show you the dinner tort first. Don't do this, please, without oven mitts. I did it again without oven mitts, but it is cooling down, so it's not super hot, but I do that too much. So the dinner torte is done and just has to cool a little more. But here it is, and I did not put cranberries on it because of my funky cranberry sensitivity. I'm like sensitive to cranberries, mustard seed, sunflower seeds, a few weird things like Brazil nuts, which I don't even eat that much, but anyhow. So here it is. Normally it has some cranberries and that adds a little more color. So visualize it with the cranberries, but it's so nice in this springform pan because when you open it up, it's quite big. Like it's actually a fairly hearty. Will it come out now? I think it will. Yeah, it's set enough. It's gonna it's a tiny bit loose because it's still warm, but you do want it warm. See, and it's a nice, hearty, and like very substantial main dish. So this is made with sauteed onions. Onions are sauteed first to develop a lot of like caramelization, get some flavors in there with, I saute them with a little bit of white wine, but you can skip the white wine, but I have an option for you today too. And then that all gets sauteed up with some seasonings, and then you puree it with the chickpeas and vegan Worcester sauce. And what else is in there? Oh yeah, that's when you forget your own recipe. Brown rice, pumpkin seeds, cranberries, and then the top is finished off with more Worcester sauce. And it's really savory and umami and delicious. And then you put the gravy over, it's amazing. Cranberry sauce, it's like it has all those holiday flavors in it and then with the gravy and the cranberry sauce. It's so beautiful. So that is the holiday dinner torte. And it looks even more beautiful with some cranberry sauce, or cranberries in it, I should say. Okay, I'm gonna put that aside. And let's make the salad and then the gravy. I changed my mind. So I'm going to show you, I did this Cornucopia salad on a live TV event, and then I made the Buddha dressing on YouTube. So there's a link in the description as well for the Buddha dressing and this salad, and you're going to then hop over to the TV station for all the recipe. But I'm going to show you this salad because it's not actually in the salad or the holiday menu because it's in the salad menu, but I do mention it in the holiday menu. So here it is here. So you start off with kale, and if you're going to eat it within, say, a half hour, then what I recommend doing is to work down the kale. So, when you first, you have fresh kale, and the leaves are kind of, they're a little bit tough, right? They're very chewy, and you can kind of work down those greens a little bit in your hands. This is an option, totally an option. And it helps soften them a little bit. It's kind of like years ago, we used to see massaging kale with oil and salt, but you don't even need the oil because the heat of your hand will begin to break down those cell fibers, the walls, and it begins to, you can see it becomes, whoops, I'm going to get that green right in my tea. That will not be so nice. It begins to become a little bit darker and less dusty looking, like a darker green, and it just softens it up. So that's an option, but I like to make this salad in advance. And when you do, then this is the Buddha dressing. It's so good, guys. I'm hearing from a lot of you that are like making this one over and over and over because it is so flavorful. You could totally serve this instead with romaine or spinach or other mixed greens. In fact, what I plan to do with this is I'm mixing it into the kale now because kale is very resilient. And when you add a dressing like this, it can sit on those leaves for a couple of days even. You could do this portion overnight, Leave it like this overnight. It will wilt down the kale. And then just before serving, if you want to add a little bit of fresh romaine or another really light leafy lettuce, that's a nice combo too. This smells so good. Oh my gosh, I could eat this. Like, I'd be happy having this with some sweet potatoes and dessert. just bring on the dessert. Oh my gosh, me and my sweet tooth. So you can see already, like, it's coating the leaves. I wish you could smell it. It smells so amazing. There's so much umami quality in that dressing. And if you don't like nutritional yeast, which is the component in this dressing, one of the main ones, I do offer another salad dressing in the Buddha or in the Cornucopia Salad. I offer 2 dressings. The other one's a curry dressing, which is so delicious on this too. And for the holidays, when we're enjoying more like warm spices, that curry dressing is really nice. And then what we do is we sprinkle on the roasted sweet potatoes, pomegranate seeds, and pumpkin seeds. You could add other things to this salad though too, totally. Like, you could add roasted cauliflower, you could add in some fresh cucumber, red bell pepper. It's really open to lots of variation in that way. The base of it, I like it to be very seasonal with like the kale and sweet potato, pumpkin seeds, pomegranate. That's very autumnal. Is that the word? Autumnal. But as I always say, Martha's not coming for dinner. So if you cannot get pomegranate seeds or whatever, do what you want. Have cherry tomatoes in it. Beautiful idea. Lots of colors. So just, be flexible. It's a salad. You can be flexible with it. But I'm going to show you the trick for pomegranates. And I'm going to show you a shortcut for the sweet potatoes. Okay, hang on. I got lots of tips for you today, guys. Lots and lots of tips. So I decided I didn't want to chop the sweet potatoes today. I love sweet potatoes, as you know. And for this salad, you dice them. You cut them in little squares and then roast them up. They get all caramelly, delicious, perfection. But I didn't want to chop them up. And I was getting stuff ready for, you're making like, 8 different things sometimes for these meals. So wherever you can find a shortcut, it's so welcome. And I was getting groceries and came across these sweet potato fettuccine, which I've used before and I love. I love it, and I don't know if it's everywhere. So tell me if you've ever seen this. Have you guys seen this? Sweet potato fettuccine. Or maybe you can get other cuts of sweet potato in your stores. Like, maybe you can get diced sweet potato or sweet potato fries or something like that already pre-cut for you. Have you seen anything like this? Sweet potato fettuccine. I've used this many times. I got it at Save On Foods here locally, and it's in past like the prepared green salads, and it's great in soups. Like, you can throw it into a soup last minute, or especially if you buy those pre-made soups that are really good, but they need to be bulked up, like Happy Planet or something. I buy them and use them as a base and then add stuff to them. I should do a whole video on that one day. I think I have done a video on that actually. But what I did with them today, and what I've done with them before, is just bake it up with a little bit of sea salt. And today I air fried them because I have the Breville Smart Oven air fryer. And I haven't been using the air fryer like forever. And then I watched one of Tammy's videos, a Nutmeg Notebook, and I was like, why am I not using my air fryer? So I been starting to use that a bit more. I will say though, however, with these, it takes just as long to put them on a baking tray. If I put it on a baking tray parchment, air frying didn't save me any time. And I'm not sure the texture is all that different for this anyhow than if I had just put it on a baking tray with parchment. And that's how I have done it for lots and lots and lots of times, and it's worked fine. You just have to watch that it doesn't burn, because if the heat is too high, the sweet potato, it's so thin, it will scorch a bit, right? Like, I've got a few pieces that got a little overdone, but it's not a big deal. Again, Martha's not coming for dinner, but if you can get them dried out enough, they're a little crispy, but even if they're not crispy, they're still wilted down and tender. And look at that, I'm gonna put that in a salad. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that fun? I love this, isn't that fun? Oh, simple things make me happy. Food, Lululemon. I'll have to talk about my Lululemon obsession in another video. I am obsessed with Lululemon, but anyhow, isn't that pretty? And they're so fun. And I did 2 bags. I used 2 of these. So this was quite full. And hey, sweetie, she's just getting home from her swim meet. You don't have to be super quiet, hon. And so I'm not going to use all of it. I'm going to keep this for later. But there's the salad with the sweet potato. And look how pretty that is, right? Look at the color. So that's a quick fix, a super quick fix for, you know, when you're making all these different dishes and the idea of chopping up something else causes you pain, makes you think you want to cry. It's too much food prep. So I'm going to show you pomegranate. So there's all these different methods for cutting pomegranates and how to cut them without making a ton of mess. Truth is, they're a bit messy, but you can get the, what are they called? Pomegranate, it's not, give me the word, guys. It's not tendrils, that's hair. There's a word and it's just escaped me. You can get the little seeds out with this tip I'm going to show you or method, and it's not as messy. It doesn't get everywhere. Pomegranate, it'll come to me. Thank you, Julie. Perils. Is that what it is? Perils? Yeah, I think so. Thank you. So you open up your pomegranate. This one is on it's not as fresh as it could be. I got it today, but it's not as fresh as it could be. So cut it once or twice. You cut it twice, it helps open it up a little bit more. But I try to avoid all the mess with the juice. So I try to cut it just once. And then you get it in a bowl of water and then use your hands to open up the pomegranate and release all of those little beautiful pomegranate seeds. Pomegranate, is it perils? I feel like that's it, or is it something? I'm really perplexed by that now. So you can see that the water helps. You can get those beautiful little jewels out, and then this part floats. So you can pick that out and remove it, and they will go to the bottom. I have also seen the method where you take a wooden spoon and you tap it against the pomegranate like this, and they're supposed to pop out. But I tried that and it was pretty messy. I had juice everywhere. So I find this method much better. You just get your hands in under and release them all. See? And the pith, I guess, of the pomegranate floats to the top. So this half is a little bit too thick for me to open up underwater. So I just have to cut it one more time. It was just a little too wide. And, you know, this is something that your kids can do if they want to get involved, if they're not teenagers. If they're not teenagers and they want to get involved with your food prep, I'm joking. Some teenagers still like to do this stuff, but yeah, see? And then I'm going to finish this one off. And my youngest, Hope, she loves pomegranate seeds. Like, she likes to have them in her lunches at school. And I think we're the two in the family that like them the most. Bridget doesn't really care for them. Paul doesn't really get enthused about them. But Hope and I like them. They're really, really good for you, right? Pomegranate seeds are really good for you. And then, so you pick out that stuff, and then you just put it through a strainer. And all of this floats to the top, which makes it easy. Where is my strainer? There we go. Okay, so I'm going to strain that. I'm still trying to pick off the last little bits, but that's pretty good. See, voila. And just let it drain a lot because there's still a lot of water on those. And what I will do after is, actually I'll do it now. I usually like to drain it as much as I can in the strainer and then just paper towel, put some on the paper towel and get the remainder of the water off that way because you don't want them kind of sogging up your salad. And if they're too wet, they will. There. And then pumpkin seeds. I'll add the pumpkin seeds after. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. So pretty. And I'll keep some of those. Hope will like to eat those after as well. Do I have another? I feel like I had another cooking tip for you. I do with the pumpkin pie. Okay, so let's make the gravy. I'm going to just have a tea break and check our comments. Lots of you here today. So nice to have everyone here. Perils. It is perils. Arrows. Is that what it is? Arrows? I feel like it's arrows. Yes, it's arrows, I think. Thank you, everyone. Arrows. I was thinking when I read perils, I was like, sounds like perils, but yeah, it's arrows. Is that how you pronounce it? Arrows? Am I saying it correctly? Okay, so cool. Thank you. And I know some stores carry them already prepped for you, so they're in containers ready to go. So that's an option as well. Super easy. I don't ever see those here. I don't know why. I know that it's available, but I rarely see them. Although I did get them at a store once, and I didn't find they were as fresh. So sometimes that's the situation is they're just not as fresh when you get them already prepped. Okay, the gravy. Time for a little. Are you joining me? Julie's saying the Buddha dressing is drinkable. Seriously, guys, make the Buddha dressing. Make it. It's probably my favorite dressing in the book. Although I made the cilantro lovers dressing the other day too. And I really do love that one. I had it on a bowl yesterday and that was really good. Like hot quinoa and it's so good. Okay, let's make this gravy. And thank you everyone for all of the comments. Oh, Gabriella, thank you. Saying congratulations on the new book is so perfect. I appreciate that. And guys, I'm going to appeal to you again. If you haven't added a review on Amazon, to please do so. Even though there's like 200 reviews, having them continually build is really important for the book. So please add them. Oh, and that's a great tip. She's saying she doesn't like getting out the hand mixer for mashed potatoes. She does a rough mash. Yeah, you can make them more like smashed potatoes, right? I like doing that. It's that dang racer thing I don't like. Paul, the name of the book is Dreena's Kind Kitchen. It's my 6th book. Where is it? Right here. And I do have a link in the description to the book. But I'm doing a giveaway today too. Oh, cool. Melissa's saying she got a reminder from IG to come. That's awesome because I just put that on last minute. I was like, okay, I'll throw it on Instagram too. All right, I have a little pomegranate juice in my saucepan, but we're good. All right, let's make this gravy. So this is an easy gravy, guys. I used to make a mushroom gravy from the Everyday Vegan. It's my first cookbook. And I used to every Christmas make that gravy, but it pained me to make it as much as I loved it. It pained me to make it. Oh, guys, I just got to say, this will be another great Thanksgiving, the sweet potato and lentil loaf. That will be another great Thanksgiving dish. I just happened to flip on that as I was coming through because it was so much chopping of mushrooms and onions. And it was like so much when I was doing all the other food. And I swear to you guys, as I've been cooking longer and longer, I want more shortcuts, easier. I just want it easier. And like overuse of the joints. I'm telling you, I go to my physio and prolotherapy and all that. And we always joke, I have cooking elbow and shoulder because of all of this, right? It's like all of this all day and cleaning after time, it wears on the body. So I just want to always chop and do all that stuff. I just want it easy. And so this golden gravy hits the mark. It's easy and it's delicious. And I'm going to make it right now. Here we go. So we start with, we have flour. You can use any flour you want. This is a lot because I'm doubling the recipe because my family are gravy savages. They practically drink it. It's like, what is up? You're eating a lot of gravy. So I'm doubling it. So we do the flour and about a half cup of the stock, which for this amount, I'm going to need about a cup. And I'm going to be going over to the heat to get this going. So what we're creating here is what's called a roux. It's like a thickening base for the gravy. And normally that's made with butter or oil. We're not doing that, or grease from the poor bird that was killed for Thanksgiving. We're using flour and water and tahini for whole foods fat. And I normally use a little bit of wine, and I haven't been drinking much wine lately. Like I've really kind of gotten out of drinking alcohol a lot. Not that I ever drink a lot, but it doesn't always feel great after. Like even a glass to me doesn't feel great. I like a few sips. Like a few sips are nice, but I haven't been opening a lot of wine. And so I'm out of wine. And I picked up this, that actually smells really nice, at the health food store today. I'll say health food store, but it's just a grocery store with more healthy stuff in it. And this is a Canadian product called Lumet, and it says London Dry. Ooh, sounds fancy. I'm going to just taste it. I'm guessing it's not going to taste really like de-alcoholized wine, but I just want to try it. Yeah, I wouldn't say it tastes like wine, but I do think it's going to give that background note in the gravy that I would like to have. So I'm going to use that today. You could use wine, and the alcohol burns off as you're cooking. You could use de-alcoholized wine. That is a thing, right? I haven't just made that up. I know there's de-alcoholized beer or alcohol-free beer. And I came across this because I saw one in the health food store or grocery store that was based on adaptogens, which I really like some of the products that are out that have different mushroom adaptogens, reishi mushrooms, chaga, that kind of thing. And I tried that one a few months ago. To me, it was a little too earthy for something like this, like a little too mushroomy, earthy. But this, I think, will work pretty nicely. I'm just going to put in, it's about 2 tablespoons I use. So I'm just going to put in a few splashes. I did put a link to a product on Amazon that I think is pretty similar to this. This one was not on Amazon, but I found one that looked fairly similar. So I put that link there. And I'm going to get this over to the stove. And just start getting that going. So what happens is the flour thickens with the vegetable stock as the base, but then we also add the tahini, and that's that whole foods fat that replaces butter, replaces margarine, replaces oil, and gives the gravy like that, sumptuous kind of texture and flavor and quality, but without using refined extracted oils or margarine, etc. So I'm going to continue to get this cooking. Hang on. I feel like I'm turning away from you, but I kind of have to. So talk amongst yourselves there. Okay, so Jane is saying de-alcoholized wine sucks. Okay, so I've never used it, so maybe don't use it because I'm trusting Jane's opinion here on that one, and she makes a lot of my recipes. But I like to keep wine on hand for recipes, like specifically for them, because they add a nice flavor background, and they don't need to still be super fresh to drink like you would open it to drink and enjoy. But for cooking, it adds that background flavor. So I do have like some red wine left over there, and I could have used that, but it changes the color, and I want to keep this a light color. So that's what I'm using today. Oh, I was going to mention to you the options for flour in this recipe. So I used a spelt flour today because that's what I had on hand. But if you need a gluten-free base, I really like using millet flour here. So people ask me about gluten-free quite a lot. Sorghum works nice as well. Sorghum or millet are nice gluten-free flours to use in this. So you have to keep whisking it or it gets a bit clumpy. But I will say if you're using millet flour or a GF flour, it doesn't get that clumpy stickiness that you can with something like wheat flour or even spelt. So it's kind of a bonus too if you're using millet or sorghum. Okay, here it goes. So I'm going to continue to whisk this over here and then come and show you how much it's thickened. Yep. It becomes like gravy glue periodically and looks not very appetizing. But see how thick that is? That's what you want. And then you get to slowly add the remaining stock. You have to work it in. You can add the tahini. And that's tamari with that as well. Tamari is like soy sauce, but a little bit lighter. And some soy sauces have colors in them and additives. So this one doesn't. Now see how the difference? Can you see that, guys? My cooking elbow is going to feel this tomorrow, I tell you. My right arm's really strong though. And we also want to add all the seasonings. So this is onion flakes. And I use onion flakes because you don't have to chop an onion. And it absorbs the water as it cooks. So it gets all plumped up in there. And it has really nice, deep flavor. Like it's very concentrated. You could chop rosemary or you could do what I'm doing today and just chuck the whole sprig in there. The sprig goes in. It releases all the flavor. After you finish cooking it, you take it out. If you think it might be too much because you think, oh, too much rosemary flavor, maybe use half a sprig or chop a little bit. Ditto for this is a clove of garlic in here. I'm going to try to show you. Oh, now it's got poultry seasoning all over it, but that actually is going to help because you're going to get to see what I did with it. So instead of chopping the garlic, I just scored it and I'm popping it in the gravy and it will absorb the flavors of the garlic will release through the clove into the gravy. You can either leave it in there or, truly, I don't mind when that clove of garlic is still in there and gets cooked through. It tastes great. It's all softened, but you could take it out after as well. Okay, so now adding the remainder of the stock. And there we go. All the kids are in the bath here. And I'm going to get this on the stove. Hi, sweetie. You pooped? Oh, she's telling me not to talk to her. She had a swim meet yesterday morning. She was up at 6 and was swimming till noon. And again today, 6 and swimming till noon. And she's still got energy, that one. She did a cross-country championship run on last Wednesday. She was running cross-country, and she doesn't do cross-country like through the year. It's just she does it with her school every September. And she was first in her class running, boys and girls. And she came fourth in the district, like of 100 kids running for her grade. So I'm like so proud of her. And she gets up at like 4:45, 2 weekday mornings for swim. I let Paul get up with her. I have paid my dues with getting up at those hours. Let me tell you, I let him do that. Okay, I have to go stir the gravy. So we bring this up to a slow boil bubble and then reduce it and let it cook for like 10 minutes. That's it. And that is easy. Like I remember my mother making gravy. Do you guys remember this? Do you have, or maybe you're fairly new to plant-based and you did this as well, would have the grease from cooking turkey, and she'd be like skimming off the excess, right? All the excess grease to get some of the like juices, I guess, and then would make her gravy from that. But it was so laborious. Like I remember seeing her with the pan and scraping this off, and like that work was so much work. This is so easy. Okay, so I'm gonna let that come up too. And by the way, I do not swim very well. She's the only one in the family that can swim really well, and her best stroke is her breaststroke. Breaststroke and backstroke are her best strokes, but she's strong. She's getting like very muscular. She might be taller than me soon too, so that's crazy. Anyways, dessert. We have to talk dessert, and I want to just quickly check your comments again. Oh, smart. Chantel says, first, Julie says she loves the sweet potato lentil loaf. Awesome. Chantel says she freezes ice cubes of wine for recipes. Brilliant. Love that. See, you guys have great ideas. So that is a great tip. And Michelle's saying she's new here. Welcome. And she loves every page of the Kind Kitchen Cookbook. How nice. And just went shopping to try some recipes. Awesome. Yes, make the golden gravy. And yes, Deborah's going to make some vegan dishes for a Friendsgiving potluck in November. I love it. Love it. Jane, that garlic was raw going in. So the recipe calls for minced garlic raw, and then you let it cook in the gravy and it cooks out that rawness. You could totally add roasted garlic if you want. That would be yummy. And just like mash it up, or you could even puree it into the gravy a little bit. That would be good. And Trish is saying she doesn't have stock on hand. Yes, I do. I never make my own stock. Never, ever, ever. I like shortcuts. So I just told you I'm getting lazier with that. So I'm just like, make it easier. I always use vegetable stock cubes. So there's lots of vegan ones out there, and they do have, most of them have some oil in them, but if you buy the actual powder, not the stock, you can find powders that are completely oil-free. But for how much oil is in the little cube, I don't worry about that. That's like really small picture stuff for me. Okay, I gotta check this gravy. Okay, so dessert is pumpkin pie, and I made my I really want to get that last bit of tamari in the gravy. That's bothering me that that's not in there. Hang on. And tahini. So I made my pumpkin pie, which is on my site and in Plant Powered Families. I'm going to get my book to show you the picture because the picture's really nice. Hang on. Oh, it's right here. How handy that I have it close by. So, like, this feels like my girls were so little here. Like, this is Charlotte. She's now 21. Bridget is 16. Look at her there. She's just a little baby. She's just like 11 there, 10, 11. She was 10. She was 10. And Hope was just 6. Yeah, because this was 6 years ago. She's 12 now. They were just babies. Okay. Anyways, so pumpkin pie is in this book. I will find it. It is coming up. Right. This is my favorite picture in the book. They're crazy, crazy expressions there. It's very true to who they are. Like, Hope is the little like mischief maker, trying to get attention, trying to make people laugh. Bridget's just like digging into that cupcake, and Charlotte's like saying, what am I into here? It's so much their personalities. Here it is. Okay. It's sticky because I just made it yesterday. So this is the pumpkin pie. And this pie, Nicole did such a beautiful job with that photo. I love it. This pie, hang on, I got to do the gravy. It's the crust is made with oats, so it's gluten-free as long as you buy gluten-free oats. It's whole foods based crust. There's no oil in it. It's made with oats, dates, and nut butter, a little bit of salt, a little bit of milk. And the only thing I didn't do when I was baking it was put a little tinfoil around the edges of the pie pan, which I should have done because it does tend to get a little bit too brown around the edges. But again, Martha's not coming, so we don't need to worry about it. And but if you want to make it so that it looks a little more like, you know, fancy, then just line your pie plate with, once you put the crust in, line it with some tin foil so that when it's baking, those edges don't get too dark. And then the filling is made in the blender with pumpkin pie puree, or not pie puree, but pumpkin, just pure pumpkin, and cashews and milk, maple syrup. That's the only sweetener in it, is maple syrup in the filling and dates in the crust. And it's so easy. I gotta do the gravy. I feel like I could have called this segment, I gotta stir the gravy. It's coming along, it's almost up at a boil, and then it will simmer. So I have the pie made, and I'm gonna put some whipped cream on it. So I'm gonna go get that. Okay, so I have a story about the whipped cream because I didn't want to make it. I did not want to make the whipped cream. Again, I wanted a shortcut. And actually, Bridget really loves that Cocoa Whip, you know, the Coke whipped cream, which is totally not a Whole Foods plant-based product, but it's a little bit of whipped cream. It's Thanksgiving. Not a biggie. I like pumpkin pie with a little bit of vanilla ice cream because I love ice cream. So I would have been happy just with vanilla ice cream, but I thought, okay, well, I'm at the store, I'll get the Cocoa Whip. But it was sold out, of course. And I was like, oh, there was another store across the street. I was like, okay, I'll just go check the other store. And it didn't have it either. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll make coconut whipped cream. So I did. But coconut whipped cream is a little finicky. And I'll tell you why after I stir the gravy. It really depends on the brand of coconut milk that you're using. First, you have to refrigerate the can to get the thick cream at the top. And sometimes certain brands don't separate as well as others. So you can sometimes get more of the milk or water in the cream, and then it doesn't really whip up and get fluffy. It will whip, but it doesn't get fluffy. As an option to coconut whipped cream, which I have that recipe in Let Them Eat Vegan. But I'm telling you how to do it. This is how easy it is, right? You whip up the cream from a can of coconut milk. You may need 2 cans because sometimes you don't get much. You add just a pinch of salt, maybe, if you want. I don't usually. A little bit of lemon zest in there is so good though. And vanilla bean powder is so good in there. And you can sweeten it or not. But if you're sweetening it, adding a little bit of icing sugar works better than like maple syrup, because maple syrup will take the volume down. So I made it today. Hang on. Okay, we're there. Now it's just going to simmer. I made it today, and I had that can of coconut milk that didn't separate very well. So it did not form those peaks. But what I did, and this is my tip for you, if this happens, well, first of all, you could skip, not make coconut milk, not make coconut whipped cream, but instead make aquafaba meringue. You could do that, which is you take the liquid from a can of like chickpeas and you whip it, and it whips really, 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 really good into a foam, and you add icing sugar. So the thing with making aquafaba, that kind of meringue, is you use a lot of sugar. So it's kind of like you're either using coconut cream and not so much sugar, or you're using the aquafaba and adding a fair amount of icing sugar, or otherwise it just kind of tastes like a little bit like nothing. You can add vanilla powder and such, but generally it does include quite a bit of icing sugar. So I opted for the coconut cream. and it wasn't forming peaks. But you'll see here now, I've got some. I added a little bit of xanthan gum. So xanthan gum is a stabilizer. It's kind of like how it's made from plants, and it's kind of like how you use agar instead of gelatin. The only thing is I added a little bit too much. So it's actually a little bit sticky. It's almost like marshmallowy, which some people may like, right? It will add that kind of mallowy kind of texture. It becomes a little sticky, but it tastes good. The cream tastes good. I only added maybe about 1 to 2 tablespoons of icing sugar. That's it. Because, you got the sweetness in the pie. Sometimes you don't want too much of that sweetness. But now you could add. So this is just simmering over here now, guys. So now you could just, top off your pie with a little bit of the cream. And I'm not very good at decorating, guys. This is not my forte. So, I would just put a little bit maybe in the middle. Like so. I don't know. Try to make it a little bit whippy looking. There we go. It doesn't have to be fancy. Truth be told, everyone's going to take a slice and add more cream or add ice cream. That's me. But Bridget will like this because she likes the coconut cream. And that's kind of what the Cocoa Whip is, much more like a thicker, more fatty kind of cream compared to the aquafaba meringue. Does that make sense, guys? Have I just talked myself into a silly circle with that? I feel like I have. But there you go. So, but you can see my crust got a little bit browned here because I didn't line it with tin foil because I just thought, I don't want to. But if you do, then you bypass that extra browning. But it's not bad. It still tastes good. It's not burnt. It's just a little bit brown. And the pie is delicious. Seriously, I tasted the filling and I was like, oh, it's so good. And the filling hadn't cooked, so it had some arrowroot in it. And you can taste that little bit of starchiness in the arrowroot when the filling is raw. But it was still good. It was so good. I was making it and showing my mom yesterday on FaceTime. And she said, stop it, that's not fair. Whenever we FaceTime her, we're showing her food. So that is going to be our dinner. And I think the gravy it's close to done. It still needs to simmer more. Yeah, it needs to thicken up a little bit more, but I'm going to bring it over and show it to you. There we go. That's a lot of gravy, right? It smells good. You got to put your head over it to smell it. Go eat your lunch, honey. Yeah. It smells really good. So one of my recipe testers, Monica McHugh, she was one of my recipe testers. She says this is her favorite gravy and she really loves it. So now you could remove the rosemary sprig altogether and remove the bay leaves, and you could either leave the garlic in there or take it out. But you can see already it's starting to soften. There it is, right? But it needs to thicken a tiny bit more. I've only had it on the stove for maybe 5 minutes. So it needs to thicken down. But here we are. It's a nice color and it's not too heavy, right? It's got just the right amount of, to me, sort of fat in it, like from the tahini, to make it taste like a gravy and luscious, but it's not sickly. And that's it. That is the gravy. We've got our salad. We've got our dinner tort. And the pie. And I think that's it. I'm going to check all your comments. Oh, okay. Questions, a few questions. So I'll zip through the questions and then I'll let you all go enjoy the rest of your Sunday and Thanksgiving. Jill's asking what brand of broth I use. What was that? Harvest Sun is the one I used. This is the one I used, Harvest Sun, which has vegan right on the label. If you want one that has no oil, then I did do a search to find a couple of brands, but I don't have them in the description. There's a few that are just powder rather than the cubes, and you can measure that out. So I did 2 of those cubes, which 1 cube is 2 cups. and I doubled the recipe. And what brand of vanilla bean powder? Michelle, I will add that after. I'll comment back to you. There's a brand that I love, Kiva, that I was using for a long time, but now I'm not seeing it on Amazon. But there's another brand, Wilderness Poet, I think it's called. And so I'll give you that link. And it's, it's a little expensive, but it lasts a little while. Like you'll have it at least 6 months, and there's nothing that compares to it. It really isn't. And Jane, I use xanthan powder. I've never seen liquid. I've never seen xanthan liquid. That's cool. And you don't need much, like maybe a quarter to a half teaspoon. I added a bit too much. I didn't measure it. I was just winging it. Thank you, Beth. I appreciate that. That's so sweet. Elizabeth's asking, where did I get the towels? My Kind Kitchen towel, that is from the release of my cookbook. I think that's what you mean. My Kind Kitchen. And if you post a picture of yourself with my book, or post a picture of the recipe and tag me on Instagram or Facebook and use the hashtags Dreena's Kind Kitchen and Kind Kitchen Love. Every week I draw a winner. I have to draw a winner for last week. I haven't done that yet. So, and if you win, you get the tea towel, another copy of the book. You get a print that is like this, that you can frame with your name in it. And it will say like Jane's Kind Kitchen, Beth's Kind Kitchen, and have that in your kitchen. And also the laptop stickers that I had designed for the release of Dreena's Kind Kitchen, which show hummus as a food group and tea and chocolate. Super fun. I love those laptop stickers. I have to get them done myself to be able to sell to you guys because they're fun. And I think that's it. Nancy, I think Nancy's mentioning that the Go Bio organic broth powder maybe is oil-free. Maybe, yeah, I think so. And I think that's it, guys. So I will. Oh, Cheryl's asking about my electric mixer. Oh, yeah, that's the microwave spot. So you see back here, I have my mixer. I don't use a microwave. I'm crazy anti-microwave or anything, but I was honestly using it to thaw my ice creams. That is what I was using it for in life. And I thought, this is ridiculous. So I got rid of it, and my kitchen's not huge. So that's where I put my mixer. And no, it doesn't swing down. I have to like lift that thing down because those mixers are heavy. They're like, I don't know, 20 pounds or something. Well, maybe not 20, but they're heavy. Okay, I'm going to sign off, guys, because I have been chatting a long time. Thank you very much for joining. And I hope that Hope is laughing at me in the background. It's true. Go enjoy a little more chocolate and tea. If you're in Canada and enjoying Thanksgiving, I wish you a beautiful Thanksgiving dinner with family, friends, or yourself. And enjoy the recipes and let me know what you're making. Oh, and comment. Don't forget the giveaway. So to enter to win the copy of Dreena's Kind Kitchen, okay, go to my YouTube channel and enter there, like the video, and comment below with what recipe I made today kind of excites you the most, whatever one that caught your eye the most. So I don't care. The pie, the salad, the dressing, the gravy, and that will enter you in to win. Okay. And then I will comment back when I draw the winner. After about a week, I'll draw the winner, and you get yourself a copy of the book. Okay. And I will get this holiday dinner torte recipe up in time for US Thanksgiving for you guys. Okay. Because I think you should have it. All right. Okay. Have a good day, guys. Thank you for joining my tea time. Lovely to have you. I'm going to go give my voice a break and have more chocolate. Okay. Signing off. See ya.